Well, greetings, life management students, and happy week number 6. So, first of all, obviously, I need to apologize for not connecting with you as thoroughly as I would have liked to last week. In case you haven't figured out, I've been under the weather. I mentioned before, I think that all of my kids in the house were sick a couple weekends ago, and my youngest daughter had a viral infection that lasted over 7 days. She still hasn't gone back to school. So you know how it is, or I don't know if you felt this way, but when kids are sick, they tend to want mom. And my daughter's been sleeping in my bed with me for the last 5 days. So only makes sense that mom would then eventually get sick. So, and I apologize for coughing. So I have been down managing the home, but I've been unable to do as much work as I would have liked to. So number one, talking about week number 5, let me just say I am very, very proud of you because most of you, really did an excellent job on exam number 1. And that was without a kind of tutorial study video session. So I'm very proud of you. I just can't commend you enough for putting the hard work into it and for learning the material and for, tackling the testing experience itself. So if you haven't done that test twice, I want to make sure you understand that you can do the test 2 times to get the best score possible. But good job. Thank you so much, because it made my work a little easier since I was just not able to get to a computer and make videos for you last week. So this week's going to be a little bit different, obviously, one reason being I'm under the weather. But, this is going to be a little different. Looking at our schedule, we should have covered chapter number 6 today. And 6 and 7, chapters 6 and 7 are small chapters. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to combine them for next week. So week number 7, we will cover those 2 chapters. This week, I want to do something that I've always wanted to incorporate in this class anyway, which is really kind of go off topic of the book and talk about some things that are really important when we talk about managing our life. And that's going to be really our emotional health and relationships. These things are something that many of us struggle with because, number one, sometimes we just didn't have good role models. We learn about relationships and how to be healthy from our parents and our guardians and the people around us. And when those people are not in a very positive, healthy place, we really don't get to learn those good things. And so this week's going to be a little different, but I'm hoping a little more maybe engaging or fun for you. So you're going to find that your activity this week is going to consist of just 2 things. Number one, I've posted up a case study. So with the case study, what students should do is read the case, and you are then going to answer or respond to the questions about the case in a critical thinking way. So sometimes students need to read it multiple times. Sometimes students need to highlight areas. But I want you to really reflect on this, right? So let me tell you about the case. This case study is near and dear to my heart because it's personal. I wrote it. So when I was doing my doctorate work at University of Pacific at UOP, again, all of my work that I did, my research centered around students that come from backgrounds that are challenging. And I worked in particular with foster youth. And so this was actually the first published paper I ever had. I wrote it with my advisor, so the faculty member at University of Pacific. He and I wrote probably 3 or 4 papers together. And so his name is on it along with mine, but actually I'm the only one that did all the interviewing and I did most of the writing. But because I didn't yet have my doctorate degree, I was in school to get my doctorate degree. My faculty advisor's name is on the paper because you have to have a senior faculty member to write or publish a paper. Right, so this was some interviews that I did with students at Delta College, and these were foster youth, adult students. And so it's near and dear to my heart. I want you to read the story with an open mind. I want you to focus on the first half of the case. So the first half of the case really talks about two students in particular, and it talks about their journey and some of the challenges of being in college when you come from these backgrounds that have had a lot of obstacles. And then the second half of the paper starts to talk about some of the things maybe we can do in college to help students that are sometimes what I call invisible. These are the students that, I don't know your background. When I sit down in my class and I have 150 students in my room, I have no way of getting to know you personally. And therefore, I don't know what background you come from. I don't know if you were homeless most of your life. I don't know if you were a foster child or youth. And so sometimes these students are what we call invisible students because we can't see their story, but because of their story, they have a lot of challenges. And so these are two students I got to know very well. One of them more in particular than the other. And I want you to read the story and focus again on the first half of their life and their experience in college. And then there's some questions to answer in this assignment. Now, I am telling you on the assignment that I want at least 200 words or more. I'd like to see a lot more than that. And the reason I'm giving you a word minimum now is because, remember I said, when we do college work, there's a level of expectation from your professors as you move forward. And I want to make sure you understand that and know how to do that. And so you're going to practice, if you will, in my class. So I'm asking for at least 200 words. So, do what you need to do, but there's 6 questions to answer. I want 200 words total, not for each of the 6 questions, but at least total words in response, not including the words in the question itself. So you really should be more like 250 or more. I'd love it if you would go more. But the reason I'm asking for a word minimum is because I really want you to think and reflect about your answers. They're pretty deep. The questions I'm asking you are something that you need to examine, not just the life of the students in the case study, but maybe even your own life. And I want you to do that in a thoughtful way. Remember, critical thinking. I want you to be doing critical thinking here. And with critical thinking comes a lot of explanation or reflection. And that's why I'm asking for 200 words or more. This is all you need to do this week, either other than your reflection and working on paper number 1, which is due very soon, right? Your goals paper. That's all you have to do. And so therefore, because that's all you have to do, I'm going to require more words from you than just, yes, I agree, or yes, or no. I don't want those type of answers. I want a lot of your communication. So again, you will answer the case study questions. You will also do a reflection this week, and your reflection has a couple options. For your reflection, I'm also asking for 100 words minimum. Some of you have been doing an excellent job at providing a good reflection because you're thinking and you're processing the information and relating it to your own life, and then you're communicating that. Some of you, not so much. Some of you, 3 sentences is just really not college level, and I want you to understand college level work, right? So anyway, those are the 2 activities you have to do this week. Again, in addition to, you should be wrapping up or getting your final draft of your goals paper ready for submission. That's coming up very soon. My goal this week is, maybe at the beginning of next week possibly, because your assignment's not actually due until Monday, is to do, I want to communicate with you where these 2 students are that are in the story. I want to tell you where they are today. It's a really, I want you to experience this case study that we're reading is real. It's real people and their real life experiences, and they're still real in their own life today. And I want you to see that and make the connections. And so I will share with you a little later kind of where they ended up, how life went for them, some of the decisions they made, some of the things we can learn from their experiences. And then I want you to also, in these questions, think about social capital. Remember, we talked about that early on in the semester. Social capital, those networks and those people, the resources that help you when those of us who don't come from affluent families don't have those resources. So I want you to also read the case study thinking about social capital, okay? So read the questions before you jump into the story so you know what to look for. And I hope you enjoy it, right? And I will again check in with you probably next week, talking more about this case study. In addition to, we will, Lord willing, I'm gonna be all healed and better. But we will move into chapters 6 and 7 of our learning material. I apologize, this is not a professional attire by any means, but you know what? I'm a very big believer in being real with people. That authenticity is important to me in my life. So I'm not going to put on airs with you that, you know, my life is perfect. By no means. It's a busy life, and sickness can get all of us down too, right? So this is a reality. Either I did no video for you, or you get me as you get me. So guys, have fun with this week's case study, and I will check in with you next week.